little else to entertain myself, I went to sleep. Well, that's a weird series of coincidental encounters there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty creepy to me.
A little bit. That would make me go lock my doors.
I agree.
Yeah.
So apparently the next morning, our intrepid hacker is awoken to a knock at the door, and apparently the system operator for Hell.com had reported the IP for unlawful access to Hell.com. So Xilonex continues. Basically,
it was a cop who showed up, or an FBI
he
agent
said it
or
was
something?
a Fed. He thought. I don't really know. Apparently, confiscated the desktop, which is what the original hack had been done on.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, as this guy walked out the door, he turned around and said,
"Careful, kid. Those who go looking for hell tend to find it."
This, of course, freaks him out. It freaked me out, frankly, if this happened. So he grabs his laptop and Googles those who go looking for hell find it. Those who seek hell are destined to find it. And claims that he wasn't able to find any results on Google. And he concedes that, like on any given time, any given date, any time that you Google this, there should be a ton of results. Thousands and thousands and thousands, maybe millions of results. But apparently he says that didn't happen in this instance, which is kind of a bummer. So he basically was like, you know what? I'm done. I can't. I'm walking away from this whole thing.
Did he ever get his desktop back from the feds?
I don't think so. Oh. No. But reportedly, after a couple years, he moved a couple times, and in the morning of the writing of this post, which is kind of what spurred a lot of people to think this website was like extra creepy, he got a certified letter via the UPS. This certified letter was a letter with a single phrase written in red. I bet you can guess what it is.
I like red ink.
Yeah, really. This page left intentionally blank. Okay, no. Wait. I misread that. Okay, those who seek hell are destined to find it.
He claims he's moved 6 times
prior to reading
between the hack and getting this package.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's pretty creepy.
Oh yeah. And what on the bottom of the letter was signed LCF? Was that Lucifer?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
And it said PS. See you soon.
Ah!
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
No.
Creepy.
Okay. I think it's creepy.
Well, is this guy Xilonex still alive?
He is. I
is?
spoke with him.
Did you?
Yeah, actually, that's a great segue. Because we're going to talk about theories in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But first, let's take a break.
It's white and fluffy and drips about so freely. It's red and sticky and flows so freely. A little bit of this cold substance gets people's attention. A little bit of this hot substance gets people's attention. Small amount of this crystalline material is quaint, large amounts are deadly. Small amounts of this hemoglobin-based fluid is an annoyance. Large amounts are deadly. What does this have to do with this week's sponsor? What is this all about? Well, if you haven't guessed it by now, it's about snow and blood, 2 things that you're guaranteed to see in the movie The Snowman. Based on the worldwide bestseller by Joe Nesbo, The Snowman tells the story of 2 detectives investigating a sociopath who strikes his victims during the first snowfall of winter. The Snowman, in theaters, starting October 20th, 2017. Go see it and get scared.
And we're back. Let's talk about theories.
Yeah!
Really?
So our first theory is that Hell.com was actually hiding a secret shadow organization that, I don't know, maybe it was like Satan worshippers or the Illuminati, or I don't really know. I've never really seen this like totally fleshed out a whole lot. As to like who it might be, just that it might be
but
hiding something.
Are there
super.
people on Reddit that are like saying this, or
There are people like all over the place saying this, Joe.
Really? Okay.
Well, and even in its own description, and I'm looking for the sentence right now, it called itself a private parallel web, meaning whoever created Hell.com was saying, I've got something else going on, and you don't get in unless you apply for membership and pay me a boatload of money.
True.
And you got your own parallel web and everything.
Accurate.
And, yeah, of course, were they? I mean, maybe
Well, we don't know. I mean, nobody's
been.
ever said, I was a member of the private parallel web, the PPP.
That's not technically not true, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. It's part of another theory.
Yes.
I was wondering about the private parallel web. Does that mean that you and many of your members all own servers, and so it's like totally separate servers from the rest of the web, even, or is it just
it was on its
the
own
web, that's sort of
server.
hidden on regular servers that are part of the regular web also?
No, it would be
on its
all
own
on a
server.
dedicated server or server set. Much like, at one point we had our own server when we overbought at one point.
Yeah.
So that server was us.
Yeah.
Nobody else was on it. So that's what they would have, is all of their stuff would be contained in that one box or series of boxes that nobody else's info was housed on. That's
okay.
It wouldn't be like, what's the one with Ghost Rat that you did, Devin? What is that? You remember that one?
I do, but I don't remember what you're talking about. To be honest
Ghost
with you,
Rat,
so.
but the nefarious program that got it in the
I remember
Nepalese
that.
system, but it was talked about how it was on all these separate servers and it's spidered out or spiderwebbed out.
Yeah.
That would be different than this. This sounds like it would have been all contained.
In which case, it's not
you had to
really
have
a web.
a very well, I mean, yeah, maybe, but the point is, it was a private one, and you had to be able to have the key to get in.
Yeah.
What was the name of that stupid story? You're killing me here.
Ghost Rat.
It was Ghost Rat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go through the virus or something like that, or the
Okay.
malware.
For some reason, I thought the name of the story was not Ghost Rat.
No, it was Ghost Rat.
Okay.
Actually,
Yeah.
I had totally forgotten about that one.
No, it's
I have a
fun.
weird memory for these stories. I can't remember what I need to do tomorrow, which is why I have the to-do list, but I can remember stories.
I also love that you hate these stories, but you still remember all of them. It's my favorite.
That's the way to make
it's
you
the
remember.
bane of my existence.
True, it's true.
Your stories.
Yeah. So, I will say, there was actually a member-only part of this. Nobody has come out and said yes, and this is what was on it. Well, totally come out. The big question is do you believe the creator of Hell.com, or do you think that the creator was hiding something else? So, we'll talk about this. But first, I do want to mention that there genuinely was a maze in the root directory, and that was intentionally designed, and apparently it was unpleasant. Like we've said, we were trying to view the source code, and it was just like, nope, your 20 seconds is up, get out. So
by maze, do you mean it's like just a huge maze of subdirectories and subdirectories?
That loop back on it themselves.
Ah, okay.
Like,
Yeah.
remember the October, 2011 one? It had a couple of those pages that if you paid attention to where it was directing you, you were just going. There was pages with 1, 2, and 3 or something like that. And you would type 3, and it would bring you back to 3, page 2, and then 3, page 3, and then 3, page 4. But then
there's
at
an
some point
easier
you'd go
way.
back to 1, and it would just keep looping you around.
there's an easier way to describe that, and that's that, literally, if you type the wrong thing into the search box, it would just take you back to the landing page.
That too.
That's a circular
But you
root
didn't know
directory.
that it was the wrong thing,
Right.
so...
Yeah.
That would be frustrating.
Chasing your tail.
Yeah.
Sounds like some voicemail trees have been in.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. It is, like I said, it's my understanding that the creator of the site did that on purpose to deter people like Xylonex to hack, keep them from hacking the site, which makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
The next theory, which we're just going to talk about,
So, what was the name of that theory that we just finished?
is the Shadow Organization.
Okay.
We're just preparing people, I think, because really we're going to talk about what it probably is. And then at the end of this, we'll loop back around like a maze of a root directory. And we'll just say, we have to, and you just have to decide if you believe that this is what it was or not.
Okay. So, what's theory number 2? The blue pill?
There is no reality.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just art. That's
Yeah.
all it was. That's all the
Just an art project?
server was. It was just an art project. The whole thing wasn't an art project. It was, I guess, to gain mystique around it, but the private server, the parallel web, was just a place for net artists. This is the word I was looking
They
for.
could put their
It was a
paintings
hidden
or whatever.
Etsy?
No, it was for modern artists who were trying to explore the capabilities of doing web-based art.
So, it was a modern deviant art?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
an old deviant art,
Yeah, an old version
Kind of.
of the modern
but
deviant art.
with real. Sorry, I do not need to offend anyone, but with real artists.
Oh, come on. I find a lot of good stuff on DeviantArt.
Yeah, there's some really good stuff on there.
But there is definitely
the
whole gamut.
There is the full spectrum,
There
I
is.
will totally admit.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm just gonna go ahead and burst everyone's bubble here. I spoke with Xylan X on Reddit, as previously mentioned. For full disclosure, it is on the subreddit No Sleep, which is
Fiction,
it can be fiction. It's not a requirement that it be.
but it's scary stories.
It's scary stories, so it can be true. It can be fiction.
Same place you found the Grinning Man.
I think Grinning Man was Let's Not Meet.
Oh, okay.
But he's also on No Sleep. But it doesn't really matter. Anyway, I did speak with Xylan X, and he said that 80% of that story is fiction. He wasn't willing to concede. I said, I think it's 90%. And he was like, 80%. And I was like, all right.
So the first 20%
Let's be
is
pedantic.
real.
Fine.
Yeah, 83%.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
So-
I could tell it was at least mostly fiction when he says that he does all this, and the very next morning, a Fed shows up at his door. It's like, I'm sorry, the Feds don't move that fast, dude.
We cut out this part because I didn't want to totally give it away immediately. But when he grabbed his laptop, he says he grabbed his laptop out of the false bottom out of his desk, and I was like, no, you didn't. This is a story.
Nobody has that.
That's not real. But maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe you have your weird. I don't know. But he did just totally was happy to admit, yes, 80% of it is fiction. Worth the read. It's really well written. It's fun.
What I'm curious about, though, so he got into it, noodled around. Did the part where the sysop deleted his browser history and all that stuff, did that actually happen?
No.
That did not
Correct me
happen?
if I'm wrong, but he didn't actually say. Is it he or she, by the way?
He.
Okay.
I confirmed.
No, that's fine. He didn't actually say which parts were fiction specifically to you, did he?
No, he did not.
Okay.
But he kind of basically said, yes, I, got into their member-only site. It was pretty lame. So this is what.
Okay.
So he decided to write a story, jazz it up a little bit.
Yeah, which is totally fair. I think it's super interesting.
Perfectly okay.
Yeah. So with all of that creepy out of the way, we're just left with the website, which is still kind of a weird website.
Yeah, that's all it's got for it at that point.
Yeah. So we mentioned this guy named Kenneth Aronson.
Aronson, yeah.
Aronson. He
Sounds
was
good.
the owner and creator of Hell.com. I will say he tried to sell the domain a number of times, never with less than a 1 million minimum on the auctions.
That's dollars, not Turkish lira.
Yes, true. One time, one of the last times before he finally did sell it, he tried to auction it off for $8 million.
Why not
That
go
did
for
not
the gusto, right?
go well for him.
It didn't go well. What do you mean? He got no offers?
Nobody
No
was willing
takers.
to give him that amount of money.
Oh, God.
I think they call them reserve bids, so they're this secret amount of money that.
Well,
you
yeah, it's
won't,
like
go below.
when you sell something on eBay, and actually I haven't done this in a long time, but I know in the past there was your reserve limit. You wanted to sell this thing for $100, so when some bozo came in and bid $1, it automatically told them somebody's outbid you at $2, and it would keep going like that until you hit the reserve.
Either that or you put in your dollar thing and it just says reserve not met. Most of the sites I've been on are just
Well,
say
it used
reserve
to,
not met.
yeah, they've done. I've seen it both ways. To
I just bought something on eBay, and now they just do this is the minimum bid.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they made it simpler. They're
It's actually,
more transparent.
Yeah, the reserve thing actually annoys the crap out of me. 'Cause
Agreed.
You got to go in there and actually bid for a while till you find out what it is. That's irritating.
Yeah,
So.
agreed.
Which is why they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can
Nah,
still
some
go
still
in and
do.
say, here's my maximum bid, and it will still only bid you at the minimum bid until somebody upbids you. So that's nice at least. But like I said, he did try to sell it for a lot of money, so he was aware that he was building up hype to build up hits to build up wealth.
So describe this dude, because this guy drives me batty.
Why?
This guy is the kind of designer and artist that gives all other designers and artists a bad name because he strings together a series of smart-sounding words to make himself sound grand, and yet he has, apparently from everything he shows, not a whole lot but himself to offer.
Okay, let's talk about him. So like we said, if you go to hell.com right now, there's this like really beautiful lime green bar at the top of the screen that it says this premium domain may be for sale. And I have seen screen captures. Previously it said legendary.
Yep.
And that is an important distinction that was made, because legendary is actually a term that Kenneth Aronson uses. He claims to create legendary brands. This is all sourced from his own personal website. And the logo that he has for his legendary brands is almost identical to the hell.com logo. It's just an L.
With an L, but you know what I figured out? It's the Comic Sans L.
It is. It's that.
Comic Sans L, where the top of the vertical bar runs into the top of the circle.
So it's
not that great of a design.
It's literally just like the hell.com thing, except for in an arrow, it's an L.
So does Aronson actually work as an artist, or does he have a day job?
I don't really know.
I went to his LinkedIn profile.
Oh.
He does work.
I looked at his MySpace page, but it was private. You think I'm joking? I am not joking. He has an active MySpace page.
No, I found our interviews with him, but I also found his LinkedIn. Seems to be a high-level consultant. Like, somebody, I love the way they described him. Like, I don't know that he's actually much of a creative, because they're like, he's great at keeping an eye on the balance sheet, but still understanding the drive of the project or something.
Well, let me read
when I
you
heard
some
balance
stuff.
sheet, I was like, this guy's a project manager.
Yeah,
who's selling himself as a designer.
Let me read you some stuff about from his websites. This is plural. If you go to his website, like I said, you will kind of see what I'm talking about here. His brand is full of those like edgy sentences, you know, where it's like kind of like somebody just threw a bunch of words at something and came up with a sentence. One of them, for instance, is Shadow is my partner and we sell nothing. Nothing links to nothinginthebox.com, which is a website that he owns, where you get a nice black background with gray text, which is even more annoying than white text. And
you know what's really annoying is like kind of pale gray text against a slightly darker gray background.
This is that pale gray, except for some black. So
there's at least some contrast.
Yeah, thank God.
And this text says, we live in society that has been sold the concept that happiness is conditional. In order to be happy and fulfilled, you need nothing. When everyone has nothing, there will no longer be crime, wars, or aggression. Stop rampant commercialism, global corporate domain, greed, envy, and conscious consumption. Conspicuous consumption. Buy nothing. Every dollar spent on nothing is one less dollar spent on something that you don't need.
This guy is high a lot.
God, I hate him. I just hate him.
This is the kind of designer or guy who poses.
You're so mad you can't even.
No. It really there's words that I want to use that it irritates the crap out of me, because other people see this and think, well, this is the way that designers are supposed to speak and artists are supposed to speak, and then they spout stuff and they have no idea what they're saying. It's like so many gag movies where you see the artist running around just saying, bleh. That's so high-minded and intelligent, dude.
Yeah, for so long, but then this is what's ironic about this guy is he was trying to sell this site for $1 million, and he's all kind of coming out against consumerism.
It sounds like
and
most
else.
of what he was trying to make himself out to be like Liquid. His website Liquid. There's all kinds of stuff like that on there.
But Liquid, spell liquid for our listeners.
Oh, it's Lyqy.
No, there's just the one. It's Lyqid. I think.
Yeah. Well, he's also got, he had no-such.com, which is now actually a design site that's in French. So he obviously sold it.
Yeah.
And it had, at one point, when I found it, I think it's from 2000, I went in the archive, the Wayback Machine, and went to No Such. And guess what I found on it?
Hell.com.
In a mirror image of hell.com on that site.
He has a lot of those sites.
Yeah.
So from what I understand from like actual interviews with this guy,
it makes no bones.
Well, no, the members only portion of it was meant to be this like safe space for edgy artists who were trying to create art in a kind of contained atmosphere. They wanted to create web art, right? Art for the internet community. But they wanted to be doing this kind of experimentation phase in a safe space where you're collaborating with other artists.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know.
Yeah, they just didn't want the public to see their crap while it was still kind of like, in that half-baked stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. There was a hack done of the site by a website called like 10010001001.org, and they basically like mirrored the whole thing, and that was, I would say it was like 2009-ish is when this happened, and so it kind of, I think, facilitated the downfall of the hell.com.
And when everybody saw that it was just random low-grade deviant artwork.
Goodnight boob, you know, I mean.
Yeah.
So I guess the real mystery here is do we believe that was really what was behind that members only login?